Alcohol. Sex. Two of the world's most popular and practiced forms of entertainment. They're everywhere you go. They're everywhere you look. But should the two be used alone? Or should the two complement one another?
You know, it's sort of a tricky question. Before I say that, you know, the negative effects of alcohol usually far outweigh the positive effects. But you know, if you think about it in the context of socialization, you know, some people find that because of the physiological effects of alcohol, that it'll allow them to be more social, to go out, you know, and with the help of alcohol, I guess, be able to sort of come out of their shell.
Alcohol is today's social enhancer and #1 party improver. It's at every event from house parties to fraternity parties. Many people love to drink and are proud of what they drink. But many don't know what alcohol does to the brain and hormones and how it affects their actions and their action towards and attract the other.
There is an irony in the sense that you know, the fact is the hormones are always there, you know, especially for guys, and I would say actually for women as well. But what alcohol does is decrease the, you know, we know that we can't act on those things. We know that it's unacceptable. There are social barriers, levels of social acceptability with acting in certain ways. When you're drunk, when you've been drinking, a lot of those, you seem to forget about those. You know, those things sort of seem to fade away. And so it does increase your sex drive is I think actually I would argue the same. It's just that the degree to which you're willing to fight it off and worry about social convention is lessened. So you start thinking about, yeah, it's time to get some. As a result, you know, so you're definitely more interested in trying to have it. Then when you actually do have it, it's a lot more of a sloppy mess, potentially, right? These individuals that put themselves in those situations, it simply just doesn't. I mean, research suggests it just doesn't. It's not as sensitive. It doesn't feel as good. It still feels pretty good, right? It's not the end of the. It's not something that you wouldn't want to do, but it certainly lessens the intensity. Now, consider this. Take not doing it at all versus doing it drunk. Which are you going to take? Right? So yeah, people are going to be more likely to be interested in one and want to have it. Thing is, it just doesn't feel as good. But still, if it's going to give you the opportunity to have sex anyway, why not take it?
You know, sober, you remember it, but when you're under alcohol, when you're under the influence, you last longer. So I mean, I don't mind either way. Either way's fine.
Sex. Should it be performed sober or under the influence of alcohol? Many will say that it doesn't matter whether it's done sober or drunk. Unfortunately, they did not know the risks that exist while under the influence of alcohol.
Looking at sexual behavior and sexual decision making after somebody's consuming alcohol, it brings along with it a lot of potential health consequences. Things like sexual transmitted diseases and infections. You know, if there is sort of a lax in condom use or protective behaviors, that it's going to carry with it an increase in transmission of sexual diseases. You know, as far as Indiana goes, you can get free condoms if you go over to the health center. You can get free condoms if you come by here. This is the Center for Sexual Health Promotion. You know, there's a lot of resources. If you go online to the Kinsey Institute website, you can find out a lot about sexuality, your own sexuality, and you know, sort of a broad sense. So if you're talking to students here at Indiana, we have a lot of resources for curious minds, I guess, as far as sexuality goes.
Remember in the back of your mind, no matter what situation you get into, is that the key is, is protecting yourself and your partner. That's the, if you've done that, as irresponsible as your behavior may be, you've actually been at least partially responsible.
When you mix alcohol and sex, it can become more risky So, you know, it's just very important just to protect yourself.
You decided to leave me, girl, I know. You said I was moving too fast, but let me take it slow.